Hey folks, Johnny Flyer here, and it's been a little while since I posted a video, but I just haven't had anything that's really been video worthy. Well, today that's a change, and I have this monstrosity. This is the American Flyer Log Loader accessory kit number 751, I believe. And I've been doing a little bit of restoration work on this one. It came to me pretty rough shape. And so I wanted to walk through a little bit of what I've done thus far, and since this one's kind of been fun to work on, I'll just continue doing a video series on this particular one. But anyway, so for starters, the roof had not survived the transit on over here very well, and you can see on the back side that it did indeed crack in several places, and so a little bit of JB weld and some creative crafting there, and I got it into halfway decent shape. Obviously this side much better than this, but you know, that'll last for do well on a layout, and the way the log loader sits, it's going to end up on the you know, looking this way, or if you have my choice. So just put this side on, and this is ready to go back on the top. So small rescue there. So onto the rest of the log loader. So obviously missing its string wire piece here. I need to go buy some more of that. It came with a piece of wire, but it had fallen apart essentially. The log loader device here, the little kind of hook piece that picks up the logs and delivers them, is missing the hook, this piece that should grab the logs at the bottom there, so we'll have to replace that. But the good news is everything else is in pretty decent shape. So when I first kind of took it apart, I went into the engine compartment here, and I wanted to point this out first. So the first thing I took a look at was the engine, and it didn't even attempt to turn here. This entire compartment was filled, and I mean filled all the way up to like the top level with grease. It was solid, and I should have taken a picture of it, but I was so kind of motivated to get it done. I didn't, but so my apologies to all of the small fan base I got out there. But the rest of this, actually, the paint is in okay condition. I think what I'm going to do is, rather than strip and paint this part, I think what I'm going to do is just go back and do some touch-up paint with what's here. And primarily because there are these rivets in here that I don't want to drill out. And I kind of like to keep them how they are. So what I'm going to do is I'll just paint a little bit. I'll do a little sanding where I need to. There's a little bit of surface rust. I think it's over one of these two sides over here, but not much that it creates a problem. But anyway, what I had to do was I had to pull the engine completely apart, which was not as hard as I expected it to be, although there's a series of washers in here that you just need to be cognizant of, because they are set up a certain way to allow your, really that's your, I guess it's a secondary worm to operate, so it'll drive this gear shaft. So anyway, onto the bottom here, and there was a lot of grease and oil. So whoever, I guess, owned this or put it together in the first place or tried to restore it, I guess their philosophy was where good grease goes, more should follow. And they just put a ton on there. And so I'm going to go ahead and take off the body of the little house here. So yeah, there's probably some restoration work done on there. And for those of you who remember the work I did on the Mystic Station, that's probably the same kind of setup, but there's enough good paint on there. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get away with not doing a total repaint. So back over to our engine. So first of all, my apologies for the mess on the desk. It's summertime here in the South, and for those of you who live around this area know that it's been pretty hot. Which means that everything has been sort of jammed into the garage. So as it starts to cool off a little bit, I'll be able to get things a little bit less jumbled, and I can actually get to work on the right stuff. Well, anyway, so for those of you who are interested in how this whole system works here, so there's a solenoid right there, that gives you a magnet, an electromagnet, that pulls this piece upwards. Now normally that's connected to this piece right here, and that's essentially, so the little V that you see here is under the bottom there, and that magnet here, you see the little wire loop, I think you can see there, is usually connected here. And what that does is this piece then pushes the logs upwards as it goes up, and those then appear here and are picked up by the hooks that are normally there. Well, thankfully all that works, so I'm just going to show you real quick on a test run here. Let me see which one it is. So I think it's this one. Yep, and it works great, and not falling real well because it's not connected to anything, but it gives you the idea. The magnet in here activates very well. So the other question is, would the engine run after I got it all cleaned up? And the answer is these engines work fantastically, and they want to run. And I found the same thing with the Mystic Station, where as soon as I got the Mystic Station kind of cleaned up and ready to go, it jumped to life, which was awesome. This is kind of a cool little setup, and I think it speaks to the genius of A.C. Gilbert. Let me see, am I on the right side? Let me see. Better view of it over here. Yeah, there you go. So the way that this was put together is this little metal piece up here acts as both the contact, stop, start. And so what it does is when you press the button, it sends it closes the circuit and starts this little wheel right here going to go in a circle. And then when it comes back around, there's a little flange that's over here that then closes the circuit again, causing it to switch off. But it's constantly in an open state. It's just a matter of closing and opening the circuit so that it bypasses the contact over here. So I'm going to give it a whirl here. And right around it goes, and that's the metal contact there. Or excuse me, that's actually a fiber contact that causes the circuit to close, so you're still bypassing the circuit. But anyway, everything circles very nicely. And around she goes. And the only thing I did find was that there is a friction screw. It's going to be really, really hard to see. Yeah, you really can't see it. But there's a friction point in there. It's at the base of where this screws into. And you basically just have to tighten that sucker down so that it'll stay in one place. If you don't, it has a tendency to slide, and I don't want to mess with it too much. Yeah, so that's a concern, I think, over time. So anyway, that's the initial cleaning. Oh, so it did strip the base down here. You can see there's still a little bit of yellow paint left there, but I'm going to prime and paint that back to the original yellow. And again, I'll repaint this right here. The red on the side of these and the frames is in great shape. All the screws and pieces were present, and for the most part, I think this is ready to go on to the next step. So that's it for now, folks. I just wanted to walk you through what's going on the table here coming up next. So I have a few accessories I'm going to be working on, and I just want to get to the point where I can close out that the layout and start moving everything into the layout room so I can use that more consistently. But I'll keep you updated, and that's about it for now. So thanks for watching, everybody.